I have an important message that feels as though it has been waiting a long time to reach you. Before you continue, take a slow breath and prepare yourself, because what you are about to hear carries real emotional weight. This message was not born from a single moment. It emerged through endless quiet nights, unanswered thoughts, and conversations that never happened. It comes from feelings left unspoken and emotions held back for far too long. Somehow, it has found its way to you today because something has shifted and the time to ignore it is running out. Welcome to Psychonym. If you have not already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the messages meant to find you. There is a reason you were guided here at this exact moment. Trust that your presence is not random. Before we talk about what your person is experiencing, there is something you need to hear first. You were never imagining what existed between you. The connection you felt was genuine. The emotions were real. You were not mistaken, and you were not creating a fantasy in your mind. Whatever happened between the two of you mattered, and none of it was simply your fault. Hold on to that truth as you listen. Your person has been carrying something deep inside for much longer than they have ever admitted, longer than you probably realize. They did not suddenly stop caring. They did not wake up one morning and erase you from their heart. And despite how they may have appeared on the outside, they never truly left those feelings behind. Instead, they pushed them down. They buried emotions they did not know how to process. They avoided feelings they were not prepared to confront. Silence became their safest option because speaking honestly felt too risky. If this message feels meant for you, hit like so others receive it too. But emotions do not disappear simply because they are hidden. They remain beneath the surface, growing heavier with every passing day until carrying them alone becomes impossible. That is exactly where they are now. Despite how composed they may seem, there is no real peace inside them. Recently, something stirred everything they tried to suppress. Maybe they unexpectedly saw something that reminded them of you. Maybe someone casually mentioned your name. Perhaps they dreamed about you so vividly that waking up felt like losing you all over again. Or maybe life simply became quiet enough that the truth could no longer be drowned out. Whatever happened forced them to face a reality they have been avoiding. They are terrified that they may have already lost you. That realization did not arrive gradually. It hit them during lonely nights when distractions stopped working. It appeared while staring at an empty phone, during conversations that felt meaningless, and in moments when being surrounded by people still left them feeling alone. They have begun realizing something painful. No one understands them the way you did, listens with the same patience, or offers comfort without pressure. What you shared was never ordinary, and the place you held in their life cannot be replaced. Deep down, you sense that because it was real. If these words resonate with your heart, write "I feel this" in the comments, because sometimes acknowledging your feelings is the first step toward accepting them. They still struggle to find the words they wish they could finally say. They wish they had spoken sooner instead of assuming there would always be another chance. Only now do they realize that staying silent was also a choice, and every choice has consequences. They regret not showing up when you needed reassurance, withholding honesty when you searched for clarity, and letting fear keep them quiet when openness could have changed everything. Distance once felt like protection and silence felt like control, but avoiding difficult emotions only made them grow stronger. At the same time, something remarkable has changed within you. Your energy, patience, and even your silence feel different because they now come from acceptance instead of waiting. That quiet confidence unsettles them more than any argument ever could. They had grown comfortable believing your compassion would always be there. Your understanding had no limits, and your endless faith meant there would always be another chance. What they never expected was for you to quietly choose yourself. But that is exactly what you have done. Now, they can feel that change. And choosing yourself was never the wrong decision. It was not selfish. It was necessary. You reached a point where protecting your own heart became the only way to survive. What they are truly afraid of losing is not simply your presence. They are afraid of losing the person who understood them without demanding explanations. They are grieving the sense of safety they experienced with you but never had the courage to acknowledge. They are mourning the feeling of home they discovered in your heart, a home they did not know how to protect. One question keeps echoing through their mind, growing louder every day. Did I lose the one person who truly mattered? That thought follows them everywhere. It waits beside them at night when sleep will not come. It appears when they convince themselves they are ready to move on. It sits quietly across the table whenever they meet someone new, reminding them that something is missing. No one carries the same energy you did. No one makes them feel the way you did. Deep down, they know that. If these words resonate with you, write soul connection in the comments and allow that intention to move forward with you. The truth is, your person is not doing as well as they pretend. Many nights they wake suddenly, and before a single thought enters their mind, they feel the emptiness your absence has left behind. It is not only that they miss you, it is the painful realization that their own choices created the distance between you. As they move through daily life, memories appear without warning. A familiar place, a phrase you used to say, a scent that instantly pulls them back into moments they believed they had forgotten. They keep trying to suppress those memories, convincing themselves to move forward. But while the mind can deny, the heart and body rarely do. They remember what mattered. Even surrounded by people, loneliness follows them because no one understands them the way you once did. No one could read between their words like you could. No one quiets the noise inside their mind simply by being present. Only now are they fully realizing that. At the same time, they are beginning to appreciate qualities they overlooked while you were beside them. Your quiet strength, your endless patience, your willingness to love without demanding constant reassurance, your ability to stay kind in a world that often rewarded emotional distance. They see those things now, and the realization arrives in waves. Some days it is regret, some days it is grief. Other days it is an emotion so overwhelming they cannot even find a name for it. But there is something equally important that you need to remember. Their regret does not erase the pain you carried. Their heartbreak does not mean your decision to step away was wrong. You did what you needed to do to protect yourself, and you never have to apologize for that. Take a slow breath and let those words settle inside you. You were not wrong. Without meaning to, they compare everyone they meet to you. Every conversation feels incomplete. Every smile feels forced. Every new connection reminds them of something that once felt genuine. And that genuine connection was with you. They may never speak your name aloud, but it lives quietly in their thoughts every single day. Sometimes it is a gentle memory. Sometimes it is so overwhelming that nothing else can hold their attention. Type soul connection. If you've felt this exact energy with your person, there is one memory they return to over and over again. It is not a dramatic event or some unforgettable milestone. It is something small, something beautifully ordinary. Maybe it was the way you looked at them when nobody else noticed. Maybe it was a simple sentence that made them feel understood after years of feeling invisible. Maybe it was your laughter, the way you said their name. Or perhaps it was simply how your presence made difficult days feel easier to carry. Whatever that moment was, it never left them. It travels with them everywhere. Late at night, in the middle of an ordinary afternoon, whenever something unexpectedly reminds them of you, they know exactly what they lost. They remember what it felt like to stand beside someone who truly accepted them. Since then, nothing has measured up. Nothing has come close. Yet, while they sit with those realizations, I want you to remember something equally important. You are not responsible for waiting. You do not owe anyone your time, your healing, or the peace you fought so hard to rebuild. Just because they finally understand your value does not mean your life has to stop. Their pain is real, but yours is just as real, and your healing deserves the same respect. You already gave everything you knew how to give. You stayed longer than many people would have. You loved more deeply than they were emotionally prepared to receive. There was nothing wrong with that, and there is nothing wrong with choosing rest now. Your healing is not meant to pause until someone else catches up. Your life keeps moving. Hold tightly to that truth. They have tried every distraction they could think of. They have buried themselves in work, routines, and constant activity. They have repeated to themselves that everything is fine. They have tried convincing themselves they made the right decision. But eventually, every distraction fades and every road leads them back to the same place, back to you, because you were the person who made them experience something undeniably real. They walked away from it, not because they stopped caring, but because they became frightened by how deeply they cared. They feared allowing someone to truly see them. They worried you would discover the parts of themselves they struggled to accept. So, they chose distance. They chose silence. They chose what felt emotionally safe. Only now are they learning that safety and happiness are not the same thing. While they remain caught in memories of the past, you have continued building a future. You have created a life that belongs to you alone, a peace that was not handed to you by anyone else. You built it through every difficult day, every tear, every lesson, and every step forward. That strength is yours now. And whether they say it aloud or not, they can feel the difference. They notice it in your words, and they notice it just as much in your silence. They notice it in the way you no longer feel the need to convince anyone of your value. They could have handled your frustration. They could have responded to conflict or emotional reactions. But your calmness is different. Comment. I chose myself if you're done waiting and focusing on your peace. Your peace tells them you have accepted what happened. Your peace tells them you found a way to move forward. And that quiet acceptance speaks louder than anything you could have said. Little by little, you stopped chasing after answers. You stopped defending your worth. You stopped shrinking yourself just to make someone else feel comfortable. You stopped pouring endless love into someone who was not meeting you with the same effort. That transformation did not happen overnight. It unfolded slowly, almost invisibly, the way genuine healing always does. Then one day you realized something had changed. You had changed. You no longer waited for another person to give you the love, respect, and security you had finally learned to give yourself. If you have reached that place in your own journey, write, "I chose myself," in the comments. Those words are not just a response, they are a reminder of how far you have come. Let me repeat something your heart deserves to hear. You were not wrong for loving them. You were not naive for believing in what the two of you shared. You were not weak because you stayed and hoped for as long as you did. You loved sincerely, completely, and without holding back. There is never shame in loving with an open heart, but real love should never require you to disappear inside someone else's story. That is what was beginning to happen. You were carrying the emotional weight of two people while they were struggling to carry even their own. You did not walk away because your heart became cold. You walked away because you finally realized that love is not supposed to feel like pleading for attention. Love is not meant to be a constant effort to prove your worth. It should not feel like sitting alone, waiting for someone who never truly arrives. You deserved honest communication. You deserved certainty instead of mixed signals. You deserved to be someone's priority instead of an option they remembered only when it was convenient. And eventually, you believed that truth. That was not giving up. That was waking up. Sometimes the greatest act of love is deciding you deserve more than what you have been accepting. Right now, your person senses something slipping away, not through a dramatic ending, not through anger, but through a quiet closing of a door. And those silent endings are often the hardest to accept because once that door finally closes, reopening it becomes far more difficult. Part of them desperately wants to reach out. They want to explain everything they never said. They want to apologize, not with empty promises or familiar excuses, but with honesty they have never shown before. Yet fear still stands between them and that conversation. Fear whispers that they have waited too long. Fear tells them you may no longer care. Fear convinces them that if they finally become vulnerable, you will reject them. So, they hesitate. They write messages, then erase every word. They unlock their phone in the middle of the night only to set it back down again. They search for your name, stare at the screen, and close it before pressing send. Entire conversations happen inside their imagination that never become reality. And every day they remain silent. Their anxiety grows a little stronger. Meanwhile, your peace continues to grow. That is no small thing. It is one of the greatest victories of your journey. Share this video so someone else gets the message they need today. You have created a life that no longer depends on whether someone chooses you. You continue moving forward. You carry yourself with a confidence built through hardship. No one rescued you. No one carried you through your darkest moments. You found your own strength. You became someone who understands that being whole does not require another person's approval. The truth is, you were always enough. You simply forgot for a little while. Now you have remembered. As for your person, they are experiencing emotions they do not fully understand. They feel unsettled without knowing why. They feel an emptiness they cannot explain. Many nights they lie awake wondering where life has taken you. They wonder whether they still cross your mind. They wonder if you have already found happiness without them. Sometimes they imagine someone else making you smile, and that thought weighs heavily on them. They wonder whether you still remember the moments they are desperately trying not to lose. That uncertainty tightens something inside them, not because they believe they deserve another chance. They know life does not work that way. But hearts do not always follow logic, and despite everything, theirs still carries your memory. Sometimes they revisit old conversations between the two of you. They reread messages they left unanswered. They notice every question they ignored. Now, each unanswered message feels like a reminder of a chance they let slip away. Each one marks a moment when you reach toward them, and they chose silence instead. Lately, it feels as though life keeps placing reminders of you in their path. Your name appears unexpectedly. Songs bring back memories they thought had faded. Dreams leave them waking with emotions they cannot explain. Whether you see these moments as coincidence or something greater, they continue arriving, urging them to face what they have avoided. Each reminder feels like another opportunity to choose differently, but opportunities do not remain forever. Eventually, every person reaches a moment when the signs stop pointing the way and the next decision becomes theirs alone. A wise teacher once said that lasting peace does not come from pretending the darkness is not there. It comes from having the courage to face it. That is exactly where your person finds themselves now. Inside them, a battle is unfolding. Their heart is pulling them toward you. Their fear keeps warning them not to risk being hurt. Their pride tells them to stay silent. But somewhere beneath all of that, their soul keeps whispering the same message. Go to them. And with each passing day, that quiet voice grows stronger. They are beginning to understand something they could not see before. You did not walk away because your love disappeared. You walked away because love by itself was not enough. You needed honesty instead of uncertainty. You needed emotional safety instead of confusion. You needed someone whose actions reflected their feelings, not someone who loved you only in silence. That was not what you were receiving. So, you made the hardest choice of all. You stopped waiting to be chosen. You chose yourself instead. That was not selfish. It was not cruel. It was an act of courage. You never expected perfection. You never asked them to have every answer. All you wanted was genuine effort. Someone willing to stay present even when things became uncomfortable. You never needed grand speeches, only truthful ones. You were not asking for impossible promises, only to know you were not carrying the relationship alone. The moment you realized you were the only one fighting to keep it alive, something quietly changed inside you. Your heart accepted the painful truth that a relationship cannot be built by one person alone. They understand that now every time your phone stays silent, but you no longer need their explanation or apology to remember your worth. If these words resonate with your heart, write divine timing in the comments as a reminder that what truly belongs in your life will arrive when the time is right. You never asked for too much. Wanting honesty, consistency, and someone who chooses you during difficult moments is not asking too much. Those are the foundation of every healthy relationship. Someone realizing your worth too late does not automatically deserve another chance because you have already rebuilt yourself and found a peace no one else can give or take away. Your value did not begin when they finally recognized it. It was always there through every silent day, every moment of self-doubt, and every step you took despite the pain. Their regret does not decide your future, their fear does not control your timing, and their awakening is not your responsibility. If they reach out, trust yourself, because your heart will know the difference between someone afraid of losing you and someone truly ready to love you differently. You can love someone while protecting your peace, wish them healing without reopening the door, and that is emotional maturity. Something about this connection is shifting. In the coming days, you may notice small reminders that catch your attention. A warm feeling, a vivid dream, a familiar song, or repeating numbers. Whether they are coincidence or something more, let them remind you that meaningful connections leave lasting impressions. Remembering someone does not mean returning to where you once were, because sometimes the strongest choice is to acknowledge your feelings and keep moving forward. Meanwhile, your person is still torn between coming toward you and disappearing, between speaking the truth and fearing what honesty might cost. They are caught between who they have always been and who they are trying to become. The old version hides behind silence, choosing comfort over vulnerability and protection over connection, while another version is emerging, exhausted from pretending and unable to deny what your absence has taught them. That part grows stronger every day, and something inside them is breaking open because keeping everything locked away is no longer possible. Real love can be ignored, buried, or denied, but truth always finds its way back to the surface. If this stirred something deep, comment alert below. Your person is nearing that moment, and it may come as a late-night message, a phone call filled with pauses, a silent glance across a room, or a quiet moment only the two of you understand. Whatever happens, remember you are never obligated to respond before you are ready, because your peace and healing belong to you. If you trust life unfolds in its own perfect time, write signal received in the comments as a reminder that you trust your own path. You are no longer waiting for someone else to complete you because you are already complete. Like this video, comment which part hit you hardest, and subscribe for more messages from your person.